It is the Monday after week 4 of the 2023 college football season. And I just wanted to get on here and talk about the Georgia UAB game. And I'm going to be honest, I'm still not entirely sure how to feel about this year's Georgia football team. I still feel like I have a lot of questions after watching the game. It wasn't a bad game. They won. Glad that they won. They won 49-21. Won by 18 points. But I'm still not sure how to feel about this team. I did say in my preview and prediction that I wanted to see Georgia come out on their first drive, score a touchdown, and make it look easy. And for the most part, they did that. They came out on the first drive. They went straight down the field, making it look easy. And they scored a touchdown. Not a field goal, a touchdown on their first drive. But they scored a touchdown off of a UAB pass interference from UAB defender. Now, I'm glad that we took advantage of it. We got the call, and we took advantage of it. I'm glad they did that. But without that, we would have had to settle for a field goal. And I truly do think that even without that pass interference call, I don't think it's still a completed pass. It looked like it was over the shoulder, too far of a throw. So they did come out. They looked good. They didn't look bad by any means. Well, for the most part, they didn't look bad. But I still haven't seen them put together a full, complete game. I think this is the closest to a complete game that I've seen them play this season. But it was still not a complete game. Their numbers were fine. Carson Beck came out. He played really well tonight. He went 22 of 32 for 338 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. And he did have a nice pass to Rosemary-Jacksaint for like 50 yards. That was really good. We got to see Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers finally showed his face in tonight's game and looked like his usual Superman dominant self. I have his numbers here. He went for 9 targets for 121 yards and 2 touchdowns. He looked fantastic. One thing is he did fumble the ball, which was oddly weird for him. So numbers were great. We looked good on offense. But tonight it seemed to be kind of more of like our offense kind of clicks, but then we give up 21 points to UAB. And I mean, right here we gave up 336 total yards to UAB. 336. That's a shit ton to be given up to a team like UAB. Granted, we did go for 582 total yards, which is great. But I'm not sure how to feel about this team. And I think they feel the same way. I think Kirby Smart in that locker room feels the same way. I think they are still trying to figure out their identity. I think they are still trying to figure out what this team exactly is. We saw through the first 3 games of the season that they come out really slow, and on offense, defense played phenomenal, but on offense they started really slow. They almost seemed like an old car that had a lot of horsepower in it, but it just took a second to get up there. But once you got it in gear, you got it in high gear, that motherfucker flew, and it was gone. That felt like them. Like they started out, they didn't have great acceleration. You can feel the power in the car, and it's about to get up there. And the second you get it in that high gear, it's boom, it's gone. It takes off. And once it gets going, it's going. You ain't catching it. That's kind of what it's felt like through the first 3 games of the season. And I was hoping that this game, we would see them right out of the gate, pedal to the metal, full blast, and not look back. And there were times where they struggled in this game. Silly, boneheaded mistakes. a few turnovers, and you're giving up 21 points to UAB. That is frustrating. And I heard all over the last couple of days, since Saturday, because today's Monday, I heard all these people saying, oh, well, last year we gave up 20-something points to Kent State, and we barely beat out a horrible Mizzou team, and we still won the national championship. Shut up. That is nothing but an excuse. That is last year. This is this year. We don't have the same team from last year. Newsflash, it's not the same team. This is a completely different team. We don't have Stetson Bennett. We don't have Darnell Washington. We don't have Jalen Carter. A lot of our defensive players are gone. We're down to 2 scholarship running backs on the team right now that are healthy. Ladd McConkey is nowhere to be seen because of injury. We have no idea when we'll get him back. So this is not the same team from last year that's just going to go out there and just obliterate anyone in its way. This is not the same team from last year that's just going to go out there and play bully ball and torture the opposing team for 4 quarters, 60 minutes straight, and basically do whatever they want to do. This is not that team. From what I've seen so far through 4 games, it's not. Now, maybe they can get there by the end of the season, but right now they're not. And I don't know what they are. Now I get you're gonna have some days off, some bad days. I mean, even last year, our defense, one of the greatest defenses of all time, had a couple of bad games as well. But this game just felt weird. Again, this whole season for Georgia felt weird, and I don't know what it is. I really don't. One thing I have noticed a lot this year, and I think that it might have a lot to do with the rule changes and the time clock and the clock not stopping. Even if you get a first down and until 2 minutes into the half, 2 minutes left in the quarter. But it seems like, and I've noticed this not only for Georgia but for other teams as well, that the amount of possessions that a team gets per game seems to be down. It seems like it happens more in the first half than the second half. I'm not really sure why. But I mean, in that, what was it, the game against South Carolina, they had four drives in the entire first half. This game against UAB, we had 6, so 2 more. And I have it here. But with such little amounts of drives, possessions, you have to take advantage of every single one. You don't have much room to fuck up. If you're getting the ball anywhere from 4 to 6 times a half, you can't afford to go out there and fuck around on 2 or 3 of them. Go 3 and out, stall out in the red zone, end up having to kick field goals, or end up having to punt, or you turn it over like Georgia did a couple times in this game. You can't afford that. You got to take advantage of every single drive. And I went through and I looked at the drives for Georgia. Like I said, we come out on the first drive, we scored a touchdown, but then we went punt, then turnover on downs. Here's a good stat. Then we went 5 touchdowns in a row. So we went touchdown, punt, turnover, touchdown, 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 punt, 1 more touchdown. We did have an interception. That was the interception from Gunnar Stockton. And then our last drive was basically the end of the game. So we did have quite a few possessions. I feel like more this game than we did the previous 3 games. And maybe Georgia's kind of getting used to the time changes. But I still have yet to see Georgia put together a complete game. The first few weeks, offense looked slow, sluggish. Took them a while to get started. Once they got started, they never looked back. And our defense kept us in those games. But then this game, it was more of our defense. And you just can't be giving up 330 something yards to a team like UAB. You can't. I don't care what I don't care what excuse you can't. Now I'm not expecting you to go out there and shut them down, allow them negative 1,000 yards. But if you're going to be the number one team in the country and you are seriously trying to go for the three-peat, these should be statement games. I mean, every game should be a statement game, but you get what I mean. You should not be giving up over 300 total yards to UAB. And now a lot of those points given up were self-inflicted wounds. One of their touchdowns came off it was due because of good field position. Mekhi Muse on a kick return or punt return fumbled the ball, put UAB in really good field position. They took advantage of it. They went down. They scored. And one more weird thing that I saw today, and they scored a touchdown late in the game, trash time. I still hate as using that as an excuse, but garbage time touchdown. One weird thing that I did see is at the end of the first half, with like a minute left to go, we were winning. What was the score? 28 to 14. With like a minute left. UAB had the ball. They were perfectly content with just running out the clock, going to halftime, 28-14. But for whatever reason, Kirby Smart called a timeout, almost forcing them to do it, to go for it, to do something, not allowing them to run out the clock. And so UAB was basically like, okay, well, if you're going to call a timeout and not allow us to run out the clock, we're actually going to go. And they went straight down the field. I mean, with ease. They look like Georgia and we look like UAB on that drive. I mean, we could not stop them on that drive. Now, we did end up getting a goal line stand or a stop in the end zone or red zone, so they didn't score, but that was making me nervous. I mean, I was fully expecting that they were going to score the way they were playing, and it was going to be going into the half 28-21. That was completely unacceptable. I don't know why Kirby Smart called that timeout. Very weird. Very weird. So overall, numbers weren't bad. Carson Beck played well. He got taken out of the game early, and we let Vandergriff and Stockton play. They did fine. Stockton went 2 of 3 with an interception for like 19 yards. Those weren't good, but he's young. Like I said, Brock Bowers showed out. He looked great. Overall, Georgia was 10 of 13 on their third down conversions. Time of possession was like 34 minutes. And we held, for defense, we did hold UAB to only 4 of 15 third down conversions. That's really good. So, like I said, I'm still not sure how to feel about this team. I think they're still trying to find their identity, find who they are. I am still waiting to see a full, complete game from Georgia. I think when I see that, I might feel a little bit better. Because right now, I don't know. I'm nervous. They're winning. They're 4-0. It's great to be 4-0. But I don't know how to feel about this team. We do play Auburn next week in Auburn. I am very excited for that game. I will do a preview and prediction of that game and also some of the other bigger college football games coming up this next weekend later in the week. Here's kind of a hint. I think Georgia's going to fucking kill Auburn. I think it's going to be an ugly game. But we'll see. I hope next week that they can put it all together and have a complete game. I think once we see that, I think a lot of our questions and nervousness will kind of subside. I do think Georgia's starting to find their groove. Offense does seem to be clicking a lot better. Carson Beck seems more poised. It seems like he has a little bit more control, command of the offense. I did enjoy seeing that. But I just want to see a full, complete game from start to finish. And I hope that we can get there. So we'll see next week. Other than that, I just wanted to get on here and talk about the game. Glad Georgia won. Like I said, it was 49-21. Georgia's 4-0. They still stay at number 1. Smart played his 100th game, 85 wins. Congratulations to Kirby Smart. But other than that, over and out.